And, a really excellent way to ground yourself is just to kind of feel your feet on the floor and take a nice deep breath. And feel the weight of the feet. Maybe you're wearing shoes, or maybe you don't have anything on your feet. You can feel the surface of the floor. Feel the heels on the floor and the outer soles of the feet and the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and all your toe pads. Feel the weight of the legs into the ankles and the feet. Just be sitting on top of your sit bones. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. Now just lengthen your spine. Imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Put some space in between your vertebrae. Allow the natural curves in the spine. Align the shoulders over the hip bones, the ears over the shoulders. And just feel yourself just getting a little bit taller. Bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax your scalp. Maybe you feel some sensation there. Relax the forehead and the nose and the eyes and the cheeks and the mouth, back of the tongue, the jaw, back of the head, the back of the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. Be aware of any sounds in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that are arising, the feelings, the colors, the movie, the rumination. And just try not to engage with everything that's arising. I mean, the things that don't serve you, the non-virtuous things, maybe anxiety thoughts, depressed thoughts, self-deprecating thoughts. And then take a step back and just observe the mind in the same way a scientist would be observing an experiment, just with curiosity, maybe some wonder, but objective. And the trick is not to engage, keep following nonsense. And the thing also too, though, is you have to be aware of what's actually nonsense or what's, that rumbling in the background. It's so, you're so habituated to it that you don't even know really that it's there. So we just need to develop an awareness about what's going on. And breathe. Now bring to mind all the people of your life, the ones you love, the ones you don't love so much, and the strangers, and remembering, this just a little bit of, we're touching on here, shining a light on a little bit of impermanence of these friendships, these loved ones, these, ones we don't like, the strangers, these relationships can all, rotate, change place. And however we're feeling about any one particular person at any one particular time, and they're all equal in their wish to be happy and the wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, by extension, all sentient beings. And, think of anyone in any of your lives who, needs a little bit of good energy right now. Just think about doing this practice for them, particularly if they're incapacitated and can't really do it themselves. So we start with this power of regret. And this practice is done in the context of the four opponent powers. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I don't want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. So regret is not guilt. Regret is just like taking responsibility. Guilt is like, oh, I'm a bad person. I did this awful thing. I mean, that's it. You can't do anything because you're a bad person. Regret is kind of empowering. So we start with the power of reliance with refuge. There's two sections, refuge and developing compassion. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha necessarily to forgive us. We don't want a higher power here. That's not what we're after. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon, this medicine of Vajrasattva. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful, and they're full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he's looking at you, everybody equally. Not this one better than the other one, or, equal. Love, compassion, acceptance, just exactly as you are turning up tonight. His mouth, he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up at a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart, with the left underneath the right, left holding a bell representing wisdom, the right holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're crossed, and this represents infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, represents enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here's our little section on compassion. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you and just particularly have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being, with your body, is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, and all of our inappropriate speech and lack of wisdom speech, not knowing what to say at the right time. And imagine all this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you and just kind of overflowing. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. You'll hear everything that comes out of your mouth. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine it's, the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch. Just imagine the light that comes, when the light from Vajrasattva's heart that comes into your heart and instantly dispels the darkness, just like when you turn on a light, when you walk into a room. So it's the darkness of the mind, all the delusions, the, attachment and anger, anxiety, bitterness, grudges, depression. All of this instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe. So just be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. Imagine they're gone and there's no room in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar and it fills you completely and just eradicates even those just very, very subtle kind of imprints from your mental continuum. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam karuhum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa savasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. It's really crucial because without making a resolution, without making a decision to do something, nothing's going to happen. So you just decide, I want to refrain from harming with my body, my speech, and my mind. That's just the first step. But for now, you just rejoice in your efforts. And then think of something to work on between now and tomorrow, even if it's just for 5 seconds. Just shine a light on something just for a short amount of time. Think about it, meditate on it, maybe practice a little bit. And then slowly over time, these kind of habit energies we have that are problematic for us and maybe for others, they just start to, we develop new neural pathways. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So just a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So here we have 3 little verses from chanting the names of Manjushri to dedicate for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. With meaning of the truths in 12-fold form, aware of suchness in its 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully knowing all supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million, embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds, and manifesting for the sake of beings with means derived from varied vehicles, gone forth by way of 3 vehicles. Can you remove that, please, Michael? I can't see this text. Remaining in the single vehicle's fruit. Okay. All right. So let's just dedicate this practice for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I heard on the grapevine that His Holiness might be giving a teaching in New York at some point, in not so far away. So for all of you people on the East Coast, once it gets announced, anyway, it might be something to think about. I don't know that we're going to get an opportunity to see His Holiness again, unless we go to India. So just a thought. And then for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for your own precious teachers. Okay, everyone. Good night. Lots of love. And I will see you tomorrow and sweet dreams. Okay.